Hi and welcome to this Solution Focused Thinking Club tutorial. I'm John Bullock, owner and founding director, and today joining me is...
My name's Nick Bishop, a fellow director in the business. Hello there.
And today's tutorial is about belief and confidence. Now this is a subject that we get asked about quite a lot. Both myself and Nick and other members of the team, we spend a lot of our time coaching people, whether it's executive coaching or sports coaching or even just personal coaching. And a lot of the time, the main reason that people don't succeed, and people have asked us in the past, what's the one biggest thing that stops people or even organisations from achieving what it is they want to achieve? It will be self-limiting beliefs. It will be a belief that either isn't strong enough that they can achieve it, or just a belief that's actually working against them that they can't achieve it at all.
But what a shame that people with limitless talent sometimes, John,
absolutely,
are affected by this because they think, I couldn't possibly do that. But deep down, when you dig into them and find out more about them, they've got oodles of potential.
Yeah. And what people don't realise is, first of all, we're not born with any beliefs. Okay, they don't come out. They're learned. They're conditions. Yes. From all our internal dialogue, from all the self-talk, and how we talk to ourselves in our head. And there's a separate tutorial on self-talk, so please check that out if you haven't already. It all builds what we consider our beliefs to be.
Yes.
And some people have inspiring beliefs, and that they help them go on to be successful. And some people have lots of limiting beliefs. And let's face it, most of us have a mix of both with these things. But they're not based on fact. But you will argue beliefs like they're based on facts because they're your beliefs, if that makes sense. But they're not. They're not there. They're not. It was what. May the 6th, 1954, an athletic achievement which I'm sure you're very, very aware of.
Sir Roger Bannister.
Sir Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile barrier. Now, the belief at the time was that it couldn't be done. There was a Harley Street doctor that went on to BBC One and said the immortal words to the nation, it is physically impossible for a man to run a mile in under 4 minutes.
I think he actually went on to say that the blood in the brain combust.
Yes, if they do, they will die. Now, first of all, it doesn't give you a great reason for trying, actually, does it? When somebody comes out like that.
You can see the finish line coming up, John. And slow up, slow up.
However, it was only a belief because when Bannister broke it, Bannister was a medical student, which was quite interesting about what his inspirational thinking was about at the time. But 2 weeks after Bannister broke it, a guy called John Landy took 1.5 seconds off Bannister's time. By the end of that month, over 27 people had done it. By the end of that year, over 300 people have done it. What changed for everybody was belief when somebody did it. So there are two types of people or two types of thinking. There are people that need to see something to believe it, and there are other people that see it and then make it happen. When Disney World opened, Walt Disney had died, unfortunately, before they got it opened. And one of the interviewers on the day interviewed his nephew. And on her way out of the interview, she said to his nephew, isn't it a shame that Walt's not here to see this today? And his nephew turned around very quickly and said, you're mistaken. Walt saw this, which is why you're standing here.
Yes.
Which is a fantastic quote.
Yes.
But it shows you about the belief that Walt Disney had in achieving whatever it is achieved. So, how do me and you, how does the everyday Joe, if you like, increase our confidence? That's the key, really. We want to think about it, increase our belief. If you want to increase your belief, there's one simple thing that you can do that will help you increase your confidence about doing something, and that is very simply learn more about the subject. If you're fearful of public speaking, learn more about being a public speaker.
Yes.
And then practice it. Take some action on it. Practice it in a safe environment. Now, public speaking is a really big one that we deal with a lot. It's the third biggest fear in the Western world on a survey that was done. People hate to do things like this or do presentations. Yet most of us, certainly in the business context, at some point in our career, will probably have to stand up in front of people and do some kind of presentation or hold a meeting, whatever it may be.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I'm absolutely certain I've read somewhere that actually some people, and this sounds very extreme, would rather die than do certain things.
Yeah. Well, on the survey, public speaking was the third biggest fear, and death was the seventh. So, I mean, ironically, if you're looking at that, you think people would rather die than do a presentation. I'm not quite sure it's that bad. However, we have known people that when we've said to them, what would happen if you had to do a presentation, I've had responses like, I would resign, I would go off sick, and so on. Now, I'm using public speaking as an example. If you don't need to speak in public, then don't learn more about it, because you don't need any confidence about it. So it's a choice. But if it's something you want to become more confident at, learn more about it. Educate yourself in it. Then go and practice it. Get some little steps on the way, because it will help with the confidence. Just like any goal that you've got, if you're not confident about achieving a goal, learn more about the subject, and then if it's a big goal, chunk the goal down. That's really quite important.
Well, you see, in athletics, when I coach athletics, someone's perhaps training for a mile event, classic imperial distance. We might do 200 and 400 metre repetitions in training, and it does two things. It prepares the body for the rigours, but it's also pulling it apart into bite-sized chunks, so on race day you have the confidence to put them all back together.
Yeah, it's really important. If you can chunk those things down, once you've achieved one of those things, your confidence increases, doesn't it? And it's a little bit like stairs, isn't it? The more you do, the more confident you're going to get.
One step at a time.
Absolutely. How do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. Okay, so when it comes to increasing motivation, when it comes to increasing confidence and belief, remember your current beliefs aren't based on fact. They're just based on what you've taught yourself over the years, which means you can change them if you choose to.
Well, I think that what we say is we live our lives on our perception of reality.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that perception, though, you will have some very inspirational beliefs, hopefully, but you might have some limiting beliefs about what you can achieve, what goals you can achieve, even being happy and how happy or how much money you want to make, or standing up and doing a presentation effectively. Whatever it may be, you are in charge of your beliefs. So to sum this tutorial up and give you the key learning points, if you want to increase your beliefs, remember, learning point number 1, beliefs aren't based on fact. They're not set in stone, and you can change your belief and change your confidence levels by working on them. Learning point number 2, if you want to increase your confidence, chunk things down into small goals. Chunk them down into small goals and achieve them. And if you fail at one or two things, that actually is a great opportunity to learn a bit more about it, to become more confident next time. So you don't even have to worry about the fear of failure. Just chunk things down, and if you do fail, learn from that, become more confident as you go.
I could suggest light bulbs, John.
Absolutely, Nick. And, I know why you're saying light bulbs, because you're talking about Thomas Edison.
Very true.
Edison failed over 10,000 times before he made the light bulb work. In fact, one interviewer once said to him, "When are you going to give up? You've failed over 3,000 times to make this work." And Edison's response was, "No, I've found 3,000 ways it won't work so far."
3,000 learning opportunities.
Absolutely. So keep going. And learning point number 3 is increase your confidence daily. Do something daily to increase your confidence, even if it's in the tiniest little way, because if you do it daily, it all starts to add up and you become a much more confident, rounded person.
I was working with a girl the other day, just by chance in an office. She can't swim, so she's having swimming lessons. But even though it's only 10, 20, 30 metres, it's an achievement every time.
And you should celebrate that achievement.
That's what she's doing, John.
Absolutely. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial for today. Please check the rest out in the series, and we'll be back with you very, very soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.